Well, hello there. This is Max with A1 Website Pro, and today we're going to learn how to create an Expire download link in PHP, or generate a link that just expires. So basically, if you look at the screen here, we're going to select a file to upload. We'll choose template, and we're going to establish how many times the link can be accessed. So how many times can it be downloaded? Maybe we'll put, for this one, we'll put 1 time. We're only going to allow them to download this image 1 time. And then we can set an expiration, like we allow them to download it 1 time, but they need to download it before tomorrow, which is the 6th of January, 2021. Okay. We could even establish a time if we like. If we want it to be 6:30 a.m. instead of p.m., or maybe, well, let's make it for 6:04 a.m. All right. And then you hit submit, and you'll notice that to expire on January 6, 2021 at 6:04 a.m. And then this link here, if we click on the link, we'll notice that we get a download in the lower left-hand corner because I'm in Microsoft Edge. And if we open up that, you can see that we have indeed downloaded the file. All right. And we could do that with a PDF as well, or other files. So let me just show you. There's a PDF official proposal. How many times can be accessed? Let's say we'll allow them to access it 2 times this time. And we'll expire that tomorrow at 6. And we'll just hit submit. And notice we'll go to the link. They can download it, and there's the proposal. Okay, they could download it again. So if we go open link in new private window, just make sure we get the cache. You notice here we are downloading the link again. Okay, now notice one more time. We'll go ahead, right click, open a new private window. Now they get a message. This file's already been downloaded the maximum number of times. Okay. Now, what about expiration? Does the expiration work? Well, let's go ahead and choose a file. We'll choose another image here, and we'll upload that image. And we'll say it could be accessed 5 times, but we're going to put the expiration date for yesterday, which would be January 4th. And it doesn't matter about the time. And we will just hit submit like that. Now, what happens when they try to open the link? Well, when something is expired. So we'll open a private window, and you'll see we are sorry, this link has expired. And it shows when the link had expired and what today's date and time is. Okay. So that's what you're going to be learning in this tutorial. And in order to do that, I already created a post on A1 Website Pro that you're going to be able to go to and get all this code for free, courtesy of yours truly. And so anyway, if we scroll on down, one of the first things that we're going to have to do is create a table. Now, I did not include this in the download. I probably should have. But you could grab this create table link. And let me see here. Refresh the page. Sometimes my Microsoft Edge has some extensions that kind of screw with me a little bit. But we'll just go ahead and click that. We'll grab this, right click. I'm going to copy that into my clipboard, so I'll be able to paste it later. Okay. Now, the other thing that you want to be sure to do is start up your server, your XAMPP server, WAMP server, or you might be working on a live environment, but make sure that it's running. And we'll go ahead and open up another tab. I'm going to type in localhost, and that'll get me to my PHPMyAdmin. All right. I'm going to create a new database here, and we're just going to simply call it links, just like so. Click create. And then I'll hit the SQL tab at the top. I'll right click, and I'm going to paste that in here. All right, I'll hit Control V and paste it in there. How about that? And then I'll hit go. And now you could see under the links, I have the links database, then I have the links table. And if we hit on structure, you could see I have a structure. First, I have an ID. I have the actual link. This will be the link to the particular page. This will be the file that gets downloaded. The counting will be how many times you permitted something to download, or your customer. If they set it to 5, this will be the expiration date, and the T stamp is just going to be the current timestamp. Okay. Just in case you need to work with this later. We're not actually going to use the current timestamp, but this will be the keep track of the time that you uploaded the file. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's go back to A1 Website Pro here, and I put all the files in this download link. You can actually look at the files. I put the files underneath here. You can look at all the files there if you like to. We're going to be going over them one by one, but let's just go ahead and click Create Expired Download Links, and you'll see that it'll download from A1 Website Pro. We're going to show it in the folder, in my Downloads folder, okay? And then we're going to right-click, Extract All, and let me bring this over here so you can see what I'm doing. And I want to extract it to my htdoc. So I'm going to actually go to Browse. I'm going to go down to my PC, go to Windows Drive, my XAMPP server, htdocs, and let's create another, a new folder. Call it Expired, EXPIRED, just like that. Okay, and we'll double click open in Expired, and we'll select this folder, and we'll extract all those files to that folder. And here we have the necessary files that we need in order to get this to work for us. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is open this up, this index.php up, because this is one of the first things that you're going to want to do. And I'm in my Atom. Once you scroll down here, you'll notice that we have an href link, and this was whenever I was messing around with it. You actually don't even need any of this. You can actually take it all out, or you can change this testing to expired, like so. Okay, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take this all out and let it be a relative URL. I'll hit Control S for save. Now that's on line 53. So if you're having issues, you downloaded the files and expected it to just work right out of the box, it's not going to do that. It's not designed that way. Okay, the next one we got to edit is the config file. So if we double click on the config file, we want to put in the name of the actual database. So we're using localhost root, that's my username. Now in here I would have put a password of some sort if I had a password, but I don't have a password to access MySQL, so I don't have to worry about it. And then test is the name of the database. I'm going to have to change that to the database that I named it to, and it's called links. See, links is the database, so I have to put links there, links. All right, now I'm just going to hit Command S or Control S and save that. And we are going to look at these other files here. All right, so here's the download, here's the footer, here's the header, and here's the index. So why don't I just go over this one by one and tell you how everything's working out whenever you put this particular. First, let me illustrate that it works. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go to localhost /expired. All right. We'll go ahead and choose a file. Let's choose another file. How many times can be downloaded? 5 times. Let's go ahead and make it expire the 27th. And then there we go. You can see that here it's downloading. And there you go. All right, so it works just like that. A few minor adjustments, can make sure it's connected to your database and that you have the right tables in your database and you're ready to go. Now, if that's all you want to know, go ahead and stop this video and good luck to you. But if you want to know how it works and further development, let's go ahead and dive in there, shall we? Now, bring up the expired. So let's go to index.php, and I'll show you what's going on here. So the top line here, I'm just including the header.php. And in the header, let me bring up the header. In the header, I am establishing that I want to go by the Eastern time zone, which is my time zone. And I do that by date default time zone set America, New York. And that will put all of my times for Eastern time zone, okay, in PHP. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to include the config file. This is the key file that connects me to my database. And let me show you what it looks like. All right, right here, config file. Basically, typical config file, you know, where we were in here earlier where we put our connection to the links database. And then if there's an error, it will let us know that there's an error, like if it wasn't able to connect to the database, else it's going to echo nothing. You actually don't even need that there. You don't need any of that there. So you can actually take all of this out, and that would be fine, okay? But for debug purposes, I left it in there. So you guys can go ahead and do your thing there if you need to debug anything. Okay, let's go right on down the index.php. Here I'm checking to see if something is submitted. So basically, whenever people hit submit on this form, let me show you the form that we're looking at. When they hit submit on this form, it's going to go to the top of the page, right? Because you just reload. The action is submitting to itself. So if we go down here to this form right here, now the method is post. The role, of course, is form. This is for Bootstrap. But the encode type is multi-port form data. And you need to have this in order to upload files, okay? And the first thing that we're doing is we're asking the people to select a file. So the input type is file. The class is form control for Bootstrap. And the name is file. And this is actually required. So if they don't select a form, then I'll show you what happens. Let's say that they don't select anything. They just hit submit. It asks, please select the file. And so let's go ahead and select the file. Now the next thing that it asks for is how many times can this link be accessed? And notice that this too is required. So if we hit submit now, we have a file chosen, but we're not entering anything into how many times it can be accessed. Notice it asks you to fill in this field too, okay? And finally, with the same thing with the date. If you do not enter a date, an expiration date, and you try to hit submit, it's going to ask you to fill out that form too. Okay, so that's what that's all about in the form inputs there. And then, of course, we have the input type of submit, which is actually just a button. And then once this submits, right, it goes to the top of this particular page. And it's checking if is set post submit, then we're going to start our errors array, okay, just in case there are any errors. And so the file name, we're going to grab the file name from the file. We're going to grab the size of the file, and then the temporary name for the file, okay, and then the type of file, okay. The next thing what we're going to do is we're going to explode that, and we're going to convert everything to lowercase. And here's the extensions that are allowed. Now, let's say that you wanted to allow a zip file, you know, not just a PDF or a PNG. Well, what you would do is you would put a comma here, then quotes, and then type in zip, just like that. And now you'll be able to upload zip files and have those expired as well. Okay. Now, if these extensions, if they try to maybe upload a bitmap or something of that nature, it's going to trigger this little warning right here. This extension is not allowed. Please use JPEG, PNG. Well, I guess we can go ahead and do this. JPEG, PNG, zip, or PDF. Okay, so maybe that's just a little warning for them. Now, if they try to upload anything over 2 megabytes, which, you know, if you need to adjust this thing over 2 megabytes, then you would raise that number. But if they try to raise anything over 2 megabytes, you notice the errors array is here. It's collecting this information. But they'll put out, we'll put out a message saying file size must be exactly 2 megabytes. It should be, say under 2 megabytes. Okay, because if it's under 2 megabytes, you can still upload it. Now, going through and we're checking the errors. So if all the errors are okay, you know, if we don't have any errors, we're just going to go ahead and move that uploaded file to a directory called files. And you could see here, if we go to our expired folder here and we double click files, you can see the image that we uploaded to that particular directory. Okay. Now, if we can't move the file to that directory, we're going to print some errors. Okay, for debugging purposes. Let us know as developers what's going on. All right. So here we're going to grab the input field from the form of the date, the expiration date. Okay. The next thing we're going to grab is the count, how many times a person has counted. Now, here's where it starts getting a little bit tricky. When we grab this date expire, we want to convert that to a timestamp, all right, to put into the database. So you can see here I have expire twice. The first one I'm just passing through and showing you when this particular one is going to expire. So it's to expire at this particular time, okay? That's what this one is going to do right here. The next one here is going to enter it into the database. Now, the only difference in that is I have the AM/PM here, and I took it off here, all right? And you can notice that the date syntax structure, year, month, day, hour, minute, second, whereas this is month, day, year, hour, minute, second. So I kind of changed the date around, okay? But now this DB date, which stands for database date, I'm going to actually put through a PHP function, create from format. This is going to convert this format to a timestamp that I could put into the database, okay? And that's what I'll do down here whenever I insert into links. You can see here that I am putting in the expired date. Okay, and that's just going to be a timestamp. It's not going to be the actual human reading date. Okay, and you could see that if we bring up our localhost and we go to links, the link we created, you notice that on expire here, it's just a timestamp, just like the T stamp right here. Okay. Now, one thing that we use to generate a link is this SHA1 and unique ID. All right, I'm not going to go into much explanation, but basically it creates a long syntax that you can see right up here. Whenever we hover over link, if you look down there, you could see on the lower left, you could see the link that it's generating. Okay, that's stored into the database. Okay, let me go on here. Here we're just requesting the server time, and we're putting that in the T stamp. Okay, whatever the current time is, whatever's on your clock down here, that's what this function does in PHP. Okay, and then finally we just insert everything into there, you know, to the link, the file, the counting, expire, and T stamp as values into the database. All right. Now this next one here I was talking about earlier, this is just the link that goes to the download. All right. And those are generated, and inside of Jumbotron here, we look to see if one is set, the one variable is set. And if it is, we're just going to echo out the 1 and the 2. We're going to concatenate them together. And that's what you see whenever you're looking at this right up here. This information right here. Okay? Now you guys can change this around however you want. I'm sure you will. But it's fun to play with. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the download and how the download's working. Oh, by the way, if you go to the very bottom of the index.php, you could see, let me get it over, that we're also including the footer. And the footer is just a typical footer. Let me go ahead and get this up here. Footer. Here we're just closing the body tag, the HTML tag, and of course, we're closing the connection to the database in the footer. Okay? All right, so let's bring up the download.php file, and let's see what's going on here. So first of all, we're including the header.php, just like we are on the index file. Here we're just bringing some bootstrap tags. And inside this Jumbotron bootstrap tag, this is where I decided to execute all the PHP. Right here, we're getting the link, the link. And if you hover over this thing right here, let me right click and copy link and bring up maybe a notepad or something. This is what the link structure actually looks like, okay? Only this one wouldn't be testing, it would be expired. But we're going to this link, this unique SH1, and that's what's generating this link for the people to download from the database. Okay, now we're going to see if it matches. Okay, if it has 0 through 9, A through F, 40 characters, we're going to go ahead and get the link. We're limited to 40 characters. So it's not going on forever and ever. Okay. Now, if the link doesn't match this information, then what we're going to do is echo out valid link not provided. And you could see that if we go here, if we grab this particular link, let's see here. Copy link. And let's just go ahead and bring up another tab, and I'm going to paste it in there, but I'm going to back it up a couple. All right. Notice valid link not provided. Okay, so that's what that particular PHP does right there. Now we're going to start some verification with the CT variable. Okay, so we're going to start with 1. Let me put this back here. It might be easier to read. We're going to start with 0 because 0 is 1 in PHP. Okay. And now after that, we're going to grab the current time just like we did last time. And we're going to convert that to a human readable format. And we're going to give them the current date and time. Next, we're going to verify the link. So we're going to get some necessary information by connecting to the database. We're going to go grab this the information right out of the database that matches the URL, the URL link, that 40 characters. So select all from links where link is link, the variable link. And this is how we do that. We grab the link, the file, we actually don't even have to grab the T-stamp, but I put it in there for you guys just in case you need it. And then counting. But notice here, I have a new count, and it's counting -1. That means they've accessed the link one time, so I'm going to -1 count. So, whenever it goes down to the expire, whenever you set it at 5 and they've already accessed it 5 times, they can't access it again. So in order to do that, we need to take away every time they access the link. Next, we're going to go down here. We're going to convert the timestamp to a readable date to show the expiration date and time. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're taking the expire variable from up here from this row, And we're converting it to a human readable format, and we're echoing out to expire on this such and such date. Okay. The next thing we'll do is check to see if the link has expired. So if the current time is greater than the expiration time, we're going to echo out, we're sorry, this link has expired. And then we're going to use the exit function in PHP so that it doesn't execute any more of the script. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to delete it so it can't be used again. In fact, we don't even have to have this here because we have this right here where it's going to delete that particular link from the database so they cannot access it again. All right. Now, if the link DB equals link, we're going to echo you have so many more times to access this link. Okay, we're going to let them know that, hey, you can download this a few more times. But notice here, we're going to update the database of links, and we're going to set counting to the new count. We're going to -1, right? We're going to put the new count up there where link matches the URL. What we're going to do here is we're going to have, if link DB equals link, we're going to set the count to 1. We're going to set CT to 1. Okay? And this is kind of like messy programming here. Else, if link DB does not equal the link, we're going to say valid link not provided or it has expired, and then we're going to exit the script here. Okay? And then what we want to do is delete the link so it can't be used again. So if the counting is down to 1, right? So we're going to delete links from where link equals the variable link in the URL structure, and counting is less than 1. The variable of counting should be a variable. Then that link is going to be deleted. Okay? I'll have to check and make sure that that's good for you guys whenever you go to download the files. I'll fix it by the time this video is uploaded. Okay, so now we say if CT is equal to 1, we're going to go ahead and let them download it. However, if it's 0, then they're not going to be able to download it, because that means this file's already been downloaded the maximum number of times. All right? And as you can see, the script works perfectly. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to leave me a comment below. I will see you in the next tutorial.